I announce my husband's worthlessness at 8:47 p.m. between the salad course and the lamb. Daniel still doesn't have a real job, I say, laughing like it's charming, like poverty is quirky when you're married to it. 3 years of consulting from our kitchen table. I might as well be a single mother. The other wives smile with their teeth. Their husbands, corporate lawyers, surgeons, the man who owns half the downtown skyline, shift in their chairs. Daniel sits at the end of our granite table wearing the same gray sweater he's worn for 5 years, cutting his meat into precise, tiny squares. He doesn't look up. "Victoria," he says quietly. "Not here." "Where then?" I drain my wine. "You certainly won't discuss it at home. You won't discuss anything. Not our mortgage, not your mother's medical bills you secretly keep paying, not the fact that I'm the only one keeping us afloat. This last part is a lie. Technically, Daniel pays half our expenses, but his half comes from some vague freelance work I've never understood. Something about investment consulting that sounds like a man too proud to admit he's unemployed. Samantha Chen, whose husband just bought her a lake house, touches my wrist. "We've all been there, honey." No, she hasn't. Daniel sets down his fork, stands, folds his napkin with the care of a man defusing a bomb. "Excuse me," he says to the table. To me, we'll talk after, but we don't talk after. After I find him packing a duffel bag in our bedroom, moving with the calm efficiency of someone who's been planning this for months. "What are you doing?" "Leaving." He zips the bag. "You've been trying to get rid of me for a year. Congratulations." "Daniel, you know what's interesting?" He finally looks at me and his eyes are empty. Genuinely empty. "I stayed because I thought you saw something in me nobody else did. Turns out you just see what everyone else sees. Less, actually." "I didn't mean you did." He lifts the bag. "You always do. Every little comment about my hobbies, every time you edit me out of stories with your work friends, every joke about my cute little projects." My throat closes. "I'm sorry." "No, you're embarrassed." He walks past me and I smell his cologne, the cheap one I once told him to upgrade. There's a difference. He leaves. I stand in our bedroom, surrounded by the furniture I picked, the art I chose, the life I built, and feel nothing except a strange, creeping relief. I sleep better than I have in months. 3 weeks later, I'm promoted. Regional director. Corner office. Salary that makes Daniel's contributions look like pocket change, which, let's be honest, they were. I tell my mother over lunch at the club. "Finally," she says, stabbing her crab cake. "Now you can meet someone appropriate." Did Daniel ever even tell you what he actually did all day? Something with investments. Advisory work. For whom? I realize I don't know. Never asked. Never cared enough to ask. Exactly, my mother says. The man was a ghost married to a powerhouse. You're better off. I post a photo on social media. Me laughing with colleagues at a rooftop bar, caption about new chapters. 300 likes in an hour. Daniel never liked social media. Said it made people perform their lives instead of living them. I thought that was him being pretentious. Now I think maybe it was him being right. But I'm not calling him. I'm not apologizing to a man who let me carry us for 3 years while he played consultant in sweatpants. I'm moving forward. Then 2 months after he leaves, Samantha Chen calls me at midnight. "Turn on Channel 7, she says. Now I find the remote. Click to news, and there he is, Daniel. My Daniel. Standing in front of a downtown high-rise I pass every day, surrounded by reporters. Wearing a suit I've never seen that probably costs more than my car. The Chiron reads, "Anonymous billionaire revealed. Venture capitalist behind quantum solutions emerges after decade of silence." The reporter's voice. Confirmed today that Daniel Cross, previously unknown to the public, has been the primary investor and strategic mind behind quantum solutions, the AI infrastructure company valued at $3.2 billion. Cross, who maintained complete anonymity even from most business partners, orchestrated deals through intermediaries and shell corporations. My phone falls, picks it up, rewinds, watches again. Sources say Cross's wife was unaware of his wealth, believing him to be a freelance consultant. The couple recently separated. "I'm going to be sick." When asked why he maintained such secrecy, Cross stated, "I wanted to know who loved me for me. Turns out nobody did. But at least now I know." The screen cuts to Daniel's face. Older somehow, tired. "I'm grateful to my ex-wife," he says into the camera. "Into my soul. She made me remember my worth. I call him 17 times. He answers on the 18th at 3 a.m. when I'm drunk on Pinot Grigio and shame. Victoria. His voice is different, harder, like he's speaking through glass. You're a billionaire. Yes. You let me. I can't finish. Let me what? Humiliate him? Belittle him? Throw him out like garbage? I let you show me who you were, he says. Thank you for that clarity. Daniel, I didn't know. You didn't ask. He pauses. In 3 years of marriage, you never once asked what I was actually working on. You assumed. You decided. And you built an entire narrative about my failure without a single conversation. Because you hid it from me. I was quiet about it. There's a difference. His voice softens just slightly. Knife to throat instead of chest. I told you I worked in venture capital. I told you I couldn't discuss my clients. You heard unemployed. You lived like you were broke. I lived like money didn't matter. Because it doesn't. Not the way you think it does. I'm crying now, mascara running, alone in the kitchen where he used to make me coffee every morning without asking how I took it. He just knew. I'm sorry, I whisper. I know you are. Now. Because now there's something to be sorry about losing. He hangs up. I hire a private investigator. I need to understand. His report arrives in a manila folder that weighs nothing and destroys everything. Daniel Cross. MIT grad. Early investor in 6 different tech unicorns. Net worth estimated between $2-4 billion. Known in elite VC circles as the ghost with someone who finds brilliant founders nobody else believes in and turns their visions into empires. He once turned down a meeting with Elon Musk because it conflicted with our anniversary. Dinner, I forgot that anniversary. Went to a work conference instead. The investigator includes details I never knew. Daniel's mother died when he was 16. His father gambled away their family business. He built his fortune from a $10,000 loan he repaid in 6 months, then never borrowed again. He values loyalty above everything, and I gave him none. At work, I'm a ghost. My promotion feels hollow. My corner office overlooks the Quantum Solutions building, and I watch it every day like a woman watching her own execution. My assistant brings coffee. You okay, Miss Cross? It's Ms. Morrison now. I took back my maiden name last week. It felt powerful then. Now it feels like erasure. Samantha visits ostensibly for lunch, actually for gossip. So your broke husband was secretly richer than all our husbands combined? She laughs like it's delicious. God, Victoria, how does that feel? Like I'm dying, her smile falters. Oh, you loved him? Do I? Or do I love what he represented? The version of myself that was good enough to be chosen by someone extraordinary. I don't know anymore, she leans in. You know what I heard. He's been seen with Elena Volkov. The Russian, model turned philanthropist, gorgeous, brilliant, exactly. The kind of woman a billionaire should be with. Not a regional director, who mocked him at dinner parties. I start going to the places I know he'll be. Charity galas, art openings. The quiet restaurant downtown where he once took me for our first anniversary, before I got too busy for quiet restaurants. I never see him. He's everywhere in the news, donating to children's hospitals, launching a scholarship fund for first-generation college students, speaking at conferences about investing in people, not just ideas. Every interview, he's asked about his ex-wife. She taught me something important, he always says, that hiding yourself to test someone's love is its own kind of lie. I was testing her. She failed. But I failed too. This should make me feel better. It doesn't. Then, 3 months after the news broke, my doorbell rings at midnight. I open it in my bathrobe, expecting delivery or disaster. It's Daniel. He looks different. The beard is gone. The gray sweater replaced by cashmere. But his eyes still tired. Still sad? Can I come in? I step aside. He walks past me into the home we bought together. Looks around like he's visiting a museum of our failure. I'm selling the house, I say. Defensive. Can't afford it alone. I'll buy it from you. Double what you paid? I don't want your money. Then what do you want, Victoria? The question hangs between us like smoke. I want to understand, I finally say. Why you stayed so long? If I was this terrible, why didn't you just leave? He sits on the couch, pats the cushion beside him. I sit. Because I saw something in you nobody else did, he says quietly. Including you. What? You're brilliant, ferocious, you fight for everything, your career, your mother, the promotion you earned by yourself with no shortcuts. You're exactly what you think you are, powerful. My throat aches. But you confused strength with superiority, and you needed someone beneath you to prove you'd climbed high enough. He looks at me. I let myself be that person because I thought eventually you'd see you didn't need to stand on anyone to be tall. And I never did. No, you just kept pushing down. He stands. I'm not here to punish you. I'm here because I owe you honesty. The kind I didn't give before. What honesty? I knew what you thought of me. I heard every joke, every dismissal. And I stayed anyway, hoping you'd change. That was cruel. To both of us. He walks to the door. Stops. There's one more thing you should know. My heart stops. What? That dinner party. When you told everyone I was worthless. He smiles, but it's ghost smiling. I had just gotten the call that the quantum deal closed. 3.2 billion. I was going to tell you after dessert. I was going to celebrate with my wife. I can't breathe. Instead, I realized I'd been celebrating alone for 3 years. So I left. Daniel, I hope you find someone who sees your strength without needing to test it, he says. Someone who doesn't hide themselves to see if you'll love the real them. You deserve that. Despite everything you do. The door closes. I sit in the silence of our empty home and finally understand. I didn't just lose a husband. I lost the only person who ever truly saw me and loved me anyway. I become obsessed with understanding him, not winning him back. I'm not delusional. But understanding the man I married and never knew. I read every article. Watch every interview. His Wikipedia page is sparse but growing. Philanthropist, ghost investor. The man who finds diamonds in rubble and makes them shine. I find a podcast where he's interviewed about his investment philosophy. I look for founders who've been dismissed, he says. People who've been told they're not enough, not experienced enough, not educated enough, not connected enough. I give them resources and step back. Usually they soar, because the hunger to prove everyone wrong is the most powerful fuel there is. The host laughs. Sounds personal. Everything I do is personal. I hire a different investigator, not to follow him, to understand his past. The report is thinner this time, but cuts deeper. Daniel's father didn't just gamble. He gambled on his son. Bet against him literally with business associates. Told people Daniel would amount to nothing. When Daniel's first company sold for $40 million at age 23, his father demanded half. Said he was owed for raising him. Daniel gave him nothing. Cut contact completely. His mother died of cancer when Daniel was 16. She spent her last months telling him he was brilliant. He started his first company with the $10,000 she left him. Every investment he's made since has been in her name. The shell corporations, the anonymous donations, all traced back to Elena Cross, his mother. He never told me her name. I never asked. I see Elena Volkov at a gala. She's stunning, tall, poised, dripping in emeralds that catch the light like promises. I'm drunk on champagne and bad decisions when I approach her. You're dating Daniel. She studies me. You're Victoria, the wife, ex-wife. Yes. He speaks of you often. This surprises me. What does he say? That you were everything he wanted to be, unafraid, ambitious, certain. She sips her champagne. But also everything he feared, unable to love someone without changing them first. He told you that? No, I observed it. She sets down her glass. Would you like to know what I think? Not really. Good, I will tell you anyway. She leans in. Daniel is not dating me. We are friends. He invests in my foundation. But his heart? She taps her chest. Still with you. Which is tragic because you never wanted his heart. You wanted a mirror that showed you winning. That's not, it is exactly true. And now you want him because he is revealed. Because the world sees his value, but you still do not see him. She walks away, then turns back. If you love him, let him go. If you love yourself, become someone worthy of him. I start therapy. Dr. Reeves is 60, no nonsense, completely unimpressed by my title or salary. Why are you here? She asks in our first session. I destroyed my marriage. Why? Because I don't know, broken. No, you're scared. She crosses her legs. What frightens you about being loved? The question hits like a slap. Nothing. I wanted to be loved. You wanted to be worshipped. There's a difference. Over 16 sessions, we excavate my wreckage. My father left when I was 8. Just left. No affair, no drama. Woke up one day and decided we weren't worth staying for. My mother rebuilt us through pure will, working 3 jobs, clawing her way to respectability. She taught me, never need anyone. Needing makes you weak, so I became strong. And I looked for someone who needed me. Daniel didn't need me. That terrified me. So I spent 3 years trying to break him into someone who did. What do you want now? Dr. Reeves asks in month 4. To apologize? For what specifically? I close my eyes. For loving him conditionally. For making him prove himself to me every single day. For never just being grateful he chose me. So apologize. He won't see me. Then become someone he'd want to see. I quit my job. Not immediately, but I start planning. My corner office feels like a cage. My title feels like compensation for everything else I failed at. I cash out my stock options. Sell the house, not to Daniel, to a young couple who remind me of us at the beginning. Use the money to start a foundation. Scholarships for first-generation college students pursuing business degrees. I name it the Elena Cross Foundation. It's presumptuous. Maybe offensive, but it's honest. I run it from a small office downtown. No staff, no publicity. Just me reading applications from kids who've been told they're not enough, handing out money that says you are. I don't tell anyone. Especially not Daniel. But somehow he finds out. 6 months after I start the foundation, a donation arrives. $5 million. Anonymous, but I know. I call him. He answers this time, first ring. Why? I ask. Because it's good work. Daniel, don't read into it, Victoria. I invest in good work. This is good work. I named it after your mother. Silence. Long, stretched, painful. I know. I should have asked permission. You should have asked about her when we were married. His voice cracks just slightly. But you didn't, because you didn't ask about anything that mattered to me. I know. I'm sorry. I'm so fucking sorry. Are you? Or are you sorry you lost something valuable? The question I've been asking myself for 8 months. Both, I whisper. I'm sorry I lost you. But I'm more sorry I never really had you, because I never let you be real. More silence. The foundation is good, he finally says. Keep doing it. He hangs up, but it's different this time. Softer. Maybe. A year after our divorce is finalized. I'm invited to speak at a tech conference about investing in overlooked talent. I almost decline. Public speaking terrifies me. But Dr. Reeves says do things that scare you. That's how you know you're growing. So I go. The room is packed. Hundreds of entrepreneurs, investors, hungry kids with dreams bigger than their bank accounts. I talk about my foundation. About the students I've funded. About learning to see value in people who don't perform it. Halfway through my speech, I see him, Daniel. Back row. Arms crossed. Watching. I lose my place, stammer. Find it again. Someone once told me, I say, looking directly at him, that the hunger to prove everyone wrong is the most powerful fuel there is. I spent years proving myself to a world that didn't matter, and I ignored the one person who already believed I was enough. His face doesn't change. I can't fix that, I continue. But I can try to be the person he saw in me. The person I never let myself become. Applause. I barely hear it. After I find him in the lobby. You didn't have to come, I say. I wanted to see if you meant it. Did I? He studies me. Yes, I think you did. We stand there, 2 people who used to share a bed and a life, now strangers with history. Coffee? He asks. I'd like that. We go to the quiet restaurant downtown. The one from our first anniversary. We don't talk about us. We talk about the foundation, his latest investments, the kids we're both trying to help. It feels like breathing after years underwater. When we part, he doesn't hug me. Just nods. See you around, Victoria. See you. Coffee becomes monthly lunches. Lunches become strategy sessions for our foundations. His long-established, mine scrappy and new. We collaborate on a pilot program, matching first-gen students with mentors from Daniel's network. It's professional. Careful. We never mention the marriage. Until one lunch. 3 months in when I ask, why did you really marry me? He sets down his fork. Honestly, please. Because you were the first person who looked at me and didn't see potential. You saw a rival. You treated me like I was already successful before you knew anything about my work. It was intoxicating. But I didn't actually see your success. No. You saw confidence, self-possession. You saw someone who didn't need external validation. He smiles sadly. Ironic, isn't it? I married you because you treated me like I'd already arrived. Then you spent 3 years treating me like I never left the station. What changed? I told you I was starting a new investment. You said, "That's nice, honey," and went back to your phone. It was the quantum deal. I was about to risk everything on it. And you said, "That's nice." I remember that conversation. Vaguely. I was reading emails. I realized, he continues, that you'd stopped seeing me entirely. I was furniture. Convenient, occasionally useful, mostly invisible. So why didn't you tell me? About the money, the success, Because I wanted you to ask. To care enough to ask, he looks at me. I was testing you, Victoria. And that was cruel. But I was desperate. I thought if I could just be invisible enough, quiet enough, you'd finally wonder what I was hiding. You'd finally see me? I failed. We both did. The program launches. It's successful. 30 students matched with mentors, 12 already securing internships. The local news covers it. Daniel and I are photographed together. People start asking if we're back together. We're not. But we're something undefined, growing. Then my mother calls. I saw the photo, she says. You look happy. I am. Don't do it, Victoria. Do what? Go back to him. You've built something real, your own thing, your own success. Don't give it up to be some billionaire's wife. I'm not giving up anything, you will. Men like that, they consume you. They look humble, but they swallow you whole. You don't know him. I know you. And I know you fought too hard to be independent to throw it away for a man who lied to you for 3 years. After we hang up, I can't stop thinking about it. Was Daniel lying? Or was he just private? I ask him over our next lunch, was I wrong? To hide my wealth? He considers this. Yes and no. I was protecting myself. But I was also manipulating you, testing you. Both are true. What would you do differently? Tell you everything. From the beginning. And then, he pauses, leave you anyway when you mocked me. Because the money wasn't the problem. The contempt was. It's the most honest conversation we've ever had. 6 months into our collaboration, I discover something. One of our students, brilliant kid, full ride to Stanford, exactly the kind of success story we're building toward, is struggling. His mentor, one of Daniel's hand-picked executives, has been inappropriate. Nothing illegal but boundary crossing, making the kid uncomfortable. I bring it to Daniel immediately. Fire him, I say. We need proof. We have the kid's testimony. Against a man who's donated millions to the program. Who sits on 3 boards. I don't care, my voice is steel. We fire him or I walk. And I take the story public. Daniel stares at me, then smiles, really smiles for the first time in months. There she is. What? The woman I married. The one who fights. Not for herself, for what's right. He fires the executive that afternoon. Later, over drinks, he asks, why didn't you fight like that for us? Because I didn't think we were worth fighting for. I thought you were the problem to solve, not the person to protect. And now? Now I think I'm an idiot who destroyed the best thing that ever happened to her. He doesn't respond. Just drinks his whiskey, looks out the window at the city we've both conquered in different ways. I'm seeing someone, he finally says. The words hit like bullets. Oh, it's new, casual, but I wanted you to know. Elena? No, someone you don't know. Someone who, he stops. Someone who sees me, all of me, and loves it. I force a smile. That's good. You deserve that, do I? Or do I just deserve someone who doesn't have to learn to love me? I don't cry until I get home. Then I cry until I'm empty. Dr. Reeves, in our next session, what did you lose? The chance to fix it. Did you want to fix it? Or prove you could? What's the difference? Everything. I realize I don't want Daniel back. I want the feeling of being chosen back. The intoxication of mattering to someone extraordinary. But that's not love. That's ego. Love is what I'm feeling now, the grief of knowing he's happy without me. The joy that he's happy despite it killing me. That's growth, Dr. Reeves says. Congratulations. It's agony. 2 months later, Daniel invites me to dinner. Formal invitation, his assistant calls. I wear the blue dress he once said made my eyes look like storms. He's at the restaurant early. With a woman, petite, dark-haired, laughing at something he said, my heart stops. but he stands when I approach. Victoria, this is Rachel. Rachel, Victoria, my ex-wife and business partner. Rachel shakes my hand. I've heard so much about you. The foundation is incredible. She's warm, genuine, exactly the kind of woman Daniel deserves. I hate her and want to be her friend simultaneously. Dinner is surprisingly easy. Rachel works in education policy. She and Daniel met at a literacy fundraiser. She thinks our program should expand nationally. You two should run it together, she says. You clearly work well together. Daniel and I exchange glances. We're figuring it out, I say. After dinner, Daniel walks me to my car. She's lovely, I say. She is. You happy? Getting there. He pauses. Are you? Getting there. We stand in the parking lot, exhaling fog into the winter air. I don't regret marrying you, he says suddenly. Even though it ended badly, even though we hurt each other. I don't regret it. Why not? Because you taught me something nobody else could, that I'm not afraid of being invisible. I'm afraid of being invisible to someone I love. He looks at me. You made me braver. By breaking me. That's a terrible way to become brave. Maybe, but it's my way. He kisses my cheek. Leaves. I sit in my car and finally let myself feel it. The full weight of losing someone by never holding them properly in the first place. 1 year after our divorce, the foundation throws a gala. We've funded 87 students. 12 have started their own companies. One just sold his app for $4 million and donated $500,000 back to the program. Daniel and I co-host. Rachel is there, charming and brilliant. My mother is there, watching me with worried eyes. During speeches, Daniel takes the microphone. This foundation exists because of two people, he says. My mother, who taught me to invest in overlooked brilliance, and my ex-wife, who taught me that being overlooked is survivable. The crowd laughs softly. Victoria and I had a complicated marriage, he continues. We hurt each other, but from that hurt, we built something that helps people who've been hurt by being underestimated. That feels like redemption. Not of our marriage, that's gone, but of the lesson we learned from destroying it. Applause. I'm crying and don't care after I find him on the balcony. That was generous, I say. It was honest. We stand in silence. The city glitters below us, the empire we both built separately from the rubble of us. I need to tell you something, he says. Okay. Rachel and I broke up. My heart lurches. When? 3 weeks ago. Why didn't you tell me? Because I needed to know something first. He turns to me. I needed to know if I could be happy without you. If the happiness I've built, the work, the purpose, the peace, could stand on its own. And? It can. I'm happy, Victoria. Really happy. For the first time in years. Then why tell me? Because I also realize something else. He steps closer. I don't need you. But I still want you. There's a difference. I can't breathe. Daniel, I don't want to remarry you. I don't want to go back. But I want to see where this goes. Who we are now, not who we were then. I don't know if I can do that. Be casual about you. Then don't be casual. Be honest, be present. Be the woman who fired a board member for making a kid uncomfortable. Be the woman who built something from nothing because she finally understood what nothing felt like. What if I hurt you again? You will. And I'll hurt you. But maybe this time we'll hurt each other honestly instead of strategically. We start over, slowly, not dating. Not married, just present. We have dinner once a week. Sometimes we talk about the foundation. Sometimes we talk about our therapists. Sometimes we sit in silence and it's not heavy. It's full. 3 months in, I ask, do you forgive me? For what specifically? The dinner party. The mockery. All of it, he thinks. I forgive the action. I understand the wound that caused it. But I can't forget it. It changed how I see you. How do you see me? As someone capable of cruelty when scared, but also capable of extraordinary growth when brave. Which one am I now? Both. That's what makes you human. 6 months into our undefined relationship, my mother has a stroke. Mild, but terrifying. I'm at the hospital when Daniel arrives, though I didn't call him. Rachel told me, he says. Rachel and I have become friends. It's strange and lovely. I brought coffee. And your laptop. I know you'll need to work. He stays through the night. Doesn't hover, just sits quietly existing beside me. When my mother wakes, she sees him first. You came, she says weakly. Of course. I told Victoria not to go back to you. I know. I was wrong. She looks at me. He's not here because you need him. He's here because he wants to be. That's different. After she falls back asleep, I walk Daniel to his car. Thank you, I say. For what? For showing up. Even though I don't deserve a stop. He takes my hands. You're allowed to be loved, Victoria. Even messily. Even after fucking up. Stop punishing yourself by pushing away people who choose to stay. I kiss him. He kisses me back. It's not fireworks. It's coming home. We don't remarry. We don't even move in together. But we build something new. A partnership that's honest instead of perfect. Complicated instead of clean. 1 year later, we're featured in a magazine. The ex-spouses who built an empire from their divorce. The interview asks, what's the secret to working together after such a painful split? I answer, we stopped trying to change each other, started trying to understand each other, and accepted that love isn't about being perfect, it's about being present. Daniel adds, also therapy. So much therapy? The journalist asks him, do you regret hiding your wealth initially? Every day, he says. But I don't regret what it taught me, that the most valuable thing I have isn't money. It's the wisdom to know who sees me for me. And does Victoria see you now? He looks at me. Yes, but more importantly, I see her. The brilliant, flawed, extraordinary person I married, and then had to lose to really find. The article goes viral. We're asked to speak at conferences, write a book, become relationship gurus. We decline everything. Our story isn't replicable, Daniel tells one persistent publisher. We're not a formula. We're a cautionary tale with a footnote that says, sometimes growth looks like destruction first. At home, my home, though he stays over most nights, I find him reading the article again. Regrets? I ask, one, what? That it took losing you for us both to become people worthy of each other. He sets down the magazine. I don't wish we'd never divorced, but I wish we'd been brave enough to be honest before it got that bad. We weren't ready. No, we were cowards. And now we're just scared, but doing it anyway. The final twist. 2 years after our divorce, Daniel receives a letter. It's from his father, the man who bet against him, who he hasn't spoken to in 20 years. He reads it at my kitchen table, face unreadable. What does it say? I ask. He's dying. Cancer. Wants to see me before. He trails off. Are you going? I don't know. Over the next week, he's distant. Not cold, just somewhere else. I give him space, but it's hard. We've built this thing on presence, and his absence feels like falling. Finally, he asks me, will you come with me? To see your father? Yeah, why me? Because you're the only person who knows what it's like to be seen as worthless by someone you loved. We fly to Phoenix. His father lives in a nursing home that smells like disinfectant and regret. Robert Cross is skeletal. Gray. Eyes still sharp with the cruelty of a man who never learned to be kind. Danny, he says. You came, don't call me that. I'm dying. You can give me that much. Daniel sits. I stand behind him, hand on his shoulder. What do you want? Daniel asks, to apologize. For what specifically? Betting against me? Telling everyone I'd fail? Demanding money you didn't earn? Which sin are we apologizing for today? Robert coughs wetly. All of it. I was jealous. You were everything I wanted to be. Smart, focused, principled. And I hated you for it. So you tried to destroy me. Yes. The honesty is startling. Daniel leans back, processing. Did it work? Robert asks, did I destroy you? Almost. But then I married someone who finished what you started. I flinch, but he squeezes my hand. And then, Daniel continues, I realized something. Your hatred taught me to find people who loved me. Her contempt taught me to love myself. So no, you didn't destroy me. You built me. By showing me exactly what I never wanted to become. Robert's eyes water. I'm proud of you. I don't care. Danny, I don't care, Daniel repeats, standing. You're dying. That's sad. But it doesn't erase 20 years of poison. You wanted to see me before you died? Fine, you've seen me. I'm successful. I'm happy. I'm everything you said I'd never be. And your opinion about it means absolutely nothing. He walks out. I follow. In the parking lot, he collapses against the car, sobbing. I hold him while he breaks. I wanted it to matter, he gasps. I wanted him to see me and feel something, regret, pride, anything. He did see you, but I didn't feel anything. I thought I'd feel vindicated. Or angry, or... He looks at me. I just felt empty, because he doesn't get to define you anymore. Even his apology doesn't matter. You've moved past needing it. Then why does it hurt? Because you're grieving what you never had? The father who should have loved you. That loss doesn't go away just because you're successful. We sit in the car for an hour, not talking. Just breathing, finally. Thank you for coming. Always. On the flight home, Daniel says, I need to tell you something. The real reason I hid my wealth from you. I thought we covered this, we covered the surface, not the truth underneath. I wait. When we met, he says, you were the first person who didn't want anything from me. You had your own money, your own career, your own life. You didn't need me, and that was intoxicating. For the first time, I could just be Daniel, not Danny the disappointment or Daniel the investor, just me. So you hid your money to preserve that? Yes, but also, he stops, starts again. I wanted you to need me, emotionally, not financially. I wanted to be chosen for who I was, not what I had. But the poverty performance was a lie. I was still manipulating you, just with absence instead of presence. Why tell me this now? Because I don't want any more lies between us. Not even small ones. He takes my hand. I'm not hiding anymore. From my father's cruelty, from your judgment, from anyone. This is me. Wealthy, damaged, in love with a woman who once threw me out. Still figuring out how to be happy. And I'm me, ambitious, flawed, in love with a man I didn't deserve but somehow get a second chance with. We're a disaster. Yeah, but we're an honest disaster. The double reveal. 3 years after our divorce, on what would have been our 10th wedding anniversary, Daniel proposes. Not marriage. Something else. I want to create a foundation in both our names, he says. Not yours, not mine, ours. Equal partners. Equal investment. Equal say. I don't have billions to invest. You have something better. You have the story. The transformation from someone who measured worth in dollars to someone who measures it in impact. And what do you have? The dollars, he smiles, and the humility to know they're meaningless without someone to share the purpose. We launched the Cross Morrison Foundation 6 months later. It's bigger than both of us. Scholarships, mentorship, startup funding for overlooked founders. We're interviewed constantly, always together. People ask, are you remarried? No, we say. We're something better. Partners who chose each other after knowing the worst of each other. 1 year later, I find something. A letter, in Daniel's desk, dated from 3 years ago, right after the divorce. Dear Victoria, by the time you read this, if you ever do, I'll have told you everything. The money, the secrecy, the manipulation. But there's one thing I haven't told you because I'm not sure I understand it myself. I'm grateful. For the dinner party. For the humiliation. For you throwing me out. Because for 3 years I hid myself. I tested you. I waited for you to prove you were worthy of the real me. That was arrogant, cruel, a betrayal as deep as yours. You shamed me. But I shamed myself first by never trusting you with the truth, so thank you. For breaking us. For making me remember my worth, not my wealth. My worth, the man I am. Flawed, wealthy, damaged, whole. I hope one day you remember yours too. I confront him that night. You wrote this 3 years ago. Why didn't you send it? Because I wasn't ready for you to know I forgave you. I needed to be angry longer. To protect myself, and now I know forgiveness isn't weakness. It's the strongest thing I've ever done. I show him something I've been carrying. A letter of my own, written 6 months after he left. Dear Daniel, I'm writing this because I'll never have the courage to send it. You were right. About everything, I didn't see you. I saw a project, a proof, a man who could validate my success by needing me. But you never needed me. You chose me, and I was too broken to understand the difference. I'm sorry. Not because I lost a billionaire, but because I lost the man who made me coffee every morning, who listened to my mother's stories at dinner, who knew I was scared of thunderstorms and would hold me without making me explain why. I threw you out, but I threw out the best parts of myself with you. I don't expect forgiveness, but I wanted you to know I finally see you, and I'm devastated by how beautiful you were the whole time. He reads it twice. You never sent this. I was ashamed. Of what? Of taking so long to understand what I'd lost. We sit with our unsent letters, proof that we were both brave enough to feel, too scared to speak. We were such cowards, he says. Yeah, but we're not anymore. 5 years after our divorce, we don't remarry, but we buy a house together. Small. Nothing like the showcase we had before. A home that fits us now. Two people who learned that love isn't about being perfect for each other, but being honest with each other. The foundation thrives. We fund thousands of students. Some fail, most soar. All of them know being underestimated isn't the end. It's the beginning. At our annual gala, a student asks, "What's the secret?" To your relationship, your success, all of it? Daniel looks at me. I look at him. There's no secret, I say. Just this, we destroyed each other. And then we had to decide, stay destroyed or build something new from the rubble. We chose the rubble, Daniel adds, because it was honest. And we were tired of performing. The last scene. 10 years after our divorce, we're featured in a documentary about second chances. The filmmaker asks, "Do you regret the divorce?" "Every day," I say. "Not at all," Daniel says simultaneously. We look at each other, laughing. "Explain," the filmmaker prompts. "I regret the pain," I clarify. "The cruelty, the waste of 3 years we could have been honest. But I don't regret the outcome, who we became because of it." "I don't regret it," Daniel says, "because the marriage was built on a lie." I lie. I needed it to end so we could start over with truth. "So you're saying the divorce saved you?" "No," we say together. Daniel continues, "The divorce destroyed us. We saved ourselves, and then we chose each other again, not out of need or test or fear, but because we finally knew who we were choosing. And who is that?" I smile. Two people who measured each other's worth in all the wrong ways, until we learned to stop measuring and start seeing. Two people, Daniel adds, who shamed each other into remembering we were never meant to fit someone else's definition of valuable. The filmmaker asks one final question. What would you tell couples who are struggling, who feel like they've lost each other? We're quiet for a long moment. Then I say, sometimes you have to lose someone to find them, and sometimes you have to lose yourself to find yourself. The question isn't whether you can survive the loss. It's whether you're brave enough to rebuild without blueprints. Daniel takes my hand. And whether you can love someone's becoming instead of their arrival. Because we're all always becoming. The tragedy is when we demand that someone stop growing to make us comfortable. The final line. That night at home, Daniel finds me on the porch. "What are you thinking about?" he asks. "That dinner party. 10 years ago, when I told everyone you were worthless. Ancient history. No, it's the moment everything changed. When I chose cruelty over curiosity. When you chose dignity over defense." I look at him. "I'm still sorry, I know. But here's what I learned. You didn't destroy me that night. You revealed me to myself. And that revelation, painful as it was, gave me back my life. So I should be thanking you for kicking me out?" "No," he kisses my forehead. "You should thank yourself for becoming someone I'd choose again. Not out of forgiveness, but out of recognition. You're not the woman who shamed me. You're the woman who learned from shaming me. There's a difference." We sit in silence, watching the city lights flicker like distant promises. "Do you think," I finally ask, "that we're proof second chances work?" "No," he says. "We're proof that some things have to end completely before they can begin honestly." He's right. I didn't get my husband back. I got someone better. A partner who knows my worst and chooses my best. Who doesn't need me to be perfect, just present. And he got someone better too. A woman who finally understands that love isn't about diminishing someone until they fit your life. It's about expanding yourself until there's room for their truth. We didn't fix our marriage. We built something new from its ruins, and that messy, honest, imperfect, is the only kind of love worth having.